users.
No, yesterday to summarize the credentials, I actually uploaded something. Did you guys get?
Yes, madam.
Looking at through the ticket in Google Drive, it should be there. Yes. In Google Drive, 2 zip files I have uploaded and 1 config file I have uploaded. The config file is not every Word document, where these zip files are like user file and admin file are zip files. So it has two many issues. There are around 30 videos. So this will actually show you each and everything, how we create what we do and all. Madhuri, how we have to read that user and can you tell us, because see, there are many documents. This and you see there is nothing in order. This particular thing is placed in alphabetical order. These are not in order. You have to go and see assignment profile, then you have to see these, and then only you have to come back to your assignment or exams and all. It is not in order. So as of now, there's a daily class that is going on. So the daily class that is going on, based on this, you can discuss the topic how you have to create. Okay. Now, coming to access, like we will create, yesterday access is not ready because there was some issue when we were creating. Basically, as we have promised, like we will get access, but then for my ID, I am not getting LMS system, but I got listed. But LMS system we are not getting, the company it is going to be only one LMS system. So myself and Sandhya, when we were discussing, we thought like in the same link that everybody was able to see, we will create a separate domain and give the user ID and password. We will create and we will give you that user ID and password and the link. So you can practice on that particular link with the help of the user ID password. Then I am creating the new private posting issue, so we will rectify that tomorrow and then I will go back to tomorrow. Yeah, so everyone will have only one login and password. It is very clear that I am giving company access because I have promised that I will give. Otherwise, it would have been my own access. But when we do not give LMS system. Okay. It's not going to be LMS system, they will only give you instance and provision idea. We have only these two. But no, the LMS system, for that they have not given me separate access to the LMS system and they will not be giving also. So but then you have promised, in spite of this being the company ID, we are going to create a separate user ID with the permissions and give you. And without this domain amount, we will create a separate ID and we will so that we can use that particular link and the user ID password. So myself and Chandra, what we are suggesting you guys is to not create again and again in the system. Everybody in one round, like one cycle you can practice. So creating many items, many catalogs, many things, the practicing method at least able to navigate the system and go into the system. So you can have one cycle time. So this particular admin document, whatever you would be doing, right, with the help of this material, admin material, you can actually look at this material and you can do in the system. That is what is this admin. So it looks about significant where you have to do next and action. Coming to SuccessFactors, user specific document, if you see how you have to approve. Then I go to the user screen. you see here, we have approval link right here. So once manager selects approval link, what he has to do, where he has to select the radio button, all this navigation is under this particular document. So this is like approval training request, assigning items, competency assignment, how to launch a course, how to complete a course survey, and navigation, how to run the course. So if you want to register for a course, how do you do that? And then coming to supervisory competency assignment, if you want to withdraw from the course. So these are all the admin side, something like user manual. All navigation from the user end. Similarly, we have the admin also. Now, as you guys wanted to go through the same assignment profile which I have created, so what I will do, I'll open this PDF and show you what we are actually doing in the system. Okay? So this is how all the admin documents will look like. They will give the description, they will give what task to put everything in detail, and they will give the tools of our LMS system, and they will navigate and show like what we have to see. So I will go through this PDF. Then we give access. When you are actually accessing in the system, you can create and not on. In between, if you guys face any problem when you are creating, so you can just let me know. And lastly, we can just resolve that. So coming to the assignment profile of this PDF, if you see here, first step what we are doing is we are creating an assignment profile. That is, we go and add new and we create our assignment profile by giving the user assignment profile ID, description and all. So after that, we define the tool. That is at management, we go and we give our rule. So we will actually define who is going to get that access. Now we have to assign this assignment profile that we have created to curricula, to catalog, and assign user role to user via assignment profile and configure recommendation, complement assignment profile synchronization. As I told you, after creating assignment profile, we will always select propagation so that whatever configurations that we have done for assignment profile with the help of tools like what is the who is going to actually get that assignment profile. All these tools that we have configured will go and store into that employee system so that we are protecting it. When it comes to synchronization, if we want to, instead of waiting for our jobs and if we want to run and check, then we can select the synchronize button. Now coming to navigation, I have told you earlier also, either through users and assignment profile navigation or by searching assignment profile here. Otherwise, by once clicking navigating to assignment profile, we will be able to get the same screen as the creation of new assignment profile. That is this particular screen. First thing, when we navigate here, everybody is able to view the PDF, or should I increase the PDF size? Yes, fine. Fine, is it? Okay. I'll keep it like this. So, I have navigated to user tab and I have selected assignment profile, clicked on add new. They have clearly given 1, 2, 3 and they have given the description here what you have to do. Now you have navigated to assignment profile, click on add new, then give your assignment profile ID, then your description, domain, the user concern you actually want to select it or assignment profile domain you can do. This domain part you can actually give them domain. the admin email. Once you have created this, provided all the details and selected add, you will get into the screen. The same screen of the learning needs management. Coming here, we know that this is the assignment profile that is created. This is called SAP curriculum and recommended next week. Coming back to the screen, here if you see, it is like define user pool or manage pool. You can select manager pool or define user pool. You will get into the same screen which we had created earlier. Now this screen, you can choose from the drop down of these attributes. You can choose whatever attributes that is available, say whether it is a job location or a domain or user, employment status, employment or type, everything. You can select all the attributes that is here or even custom attributes. As per this example that they have given, here they say, in the setup rules section, select job location ID from the drop-down of this attribute. From the matches, use your job code, that is either DC or MD. For these two job codes, which you have selected here, you don't have to search, remember your ID, you can always search from this search button. Once you search, you can give your job code, and it is not job code, it is job location ID. So you give your location details by searching here, and you can click on save. This is what you have done with your rule. Similarly, if you say job location is this, and add another rule and select another attribute from so-and-so domain, add another attribute and say from employment status, pick it up as active employee. So you can choose any number of rules that you want to. Once you are done with that, click on save. Coming back to next screen, you are selecting domain. So now this domain, first thing that you do is you will add domain. You will search for the domain. You will click on search button. So from the drop down of your domain, select whichever domain that you want to. After that, go back and save. So your rule for a user will get saved. So assignment profile for the domain, case that is curricula steel oil, who belongs to job location DC and MD. This particular catalog will go as an assignment profile. So once you save, you can also select preview users in assignment profile. So when you search for preview users, whatever selections that you have made, you will get all the list of users who belong to that particular domain as well as your job location. So once you are done with your preview, if you want to add some more,
there's a way of assignment, linking of assignment profile to users, right? We are linking that via multiplication. Sorry?
No, linking an assignment profile, not linking. Linking means exactly what you mean Priyanka?
Okay. No, I already existing and then linking. Okay. But here we are creating new.
So we are creating new. That's what users are here, right? What we did, we navigated to users, we selected assignment profile, we are selecting add new, and we are creating new assignment profile. So we will have a new assignment profile ID, and then our attributes, whatever current domain that we are working with, we will get the ID description domain, give your details, email ID, and we will add the assignment profile. Once you are done with that, automatically it is entered into the screen. We will screen your screen, you are setting the role. Rules after the last, that so that the assignment profile that you are creating, when you mark this assignment profile to the catalog that you have created, this catalog also has some items and curricula domains. All that you have configured for a domain, you are marking to the assignment profile so that this assignment profile, after propagating, it will go to the employees who are belonging to that particular domain or the rules that you have just seen. Got that? Yes. Okay. So now going forward, we have tried here, we selected our domain, we selected our users, we even checked whether the users belonging to that particular range that we have just seen. So after viewing that there are 26 results, in drop down you can see that how many users we have found here in the result section. So once that is done, in the successful section, untitled name one box and enter the role description that you want to put. So because you have chosen job location or role here, so you can say that as this particular catalog and then the job location. You can just save the basically you can save the role description. Now you go and save your assignment profile. Now you are done with creation of an assignment profile. Next time you have to assign the catalog to this particular assignment profile. Then, coming back to the next thing, you see, now that assignment profile has been defined. The assignment can be defined either in the, if you see here, there will be a small bracket, and next what you can do. You can either add a curricula or add a role. We are coming back to our curricula. So, here curricula can be like a group of profile assignments and different classifications. So you can add your curricula here by navigating. You are in the same assignment profile screen. Under related area, you have gone to your curricula tab and selected the add button to add the curricula to the assignment profile. So when you search for add curricula, you will get a list of curricula. So you can choose your own curricula and you will click on add. So once you have added, the curricula that you have chosen will come here. So you have selected like say assignment profile. Yeah? Where are you?
Madhavi, which other documents we are seeing related to this document?
Actually, it doesn't matter. If something is not Google Drive only, it is like shared with everybody. If something is missed out or if you have not got, let's suppose you have gone to please, I will show it again.
Myself also, Madhavi.
Even you can receive it, right? Huh? Yes, others who have received it, just forward it to them, and otherwise, I will forward. Size is really huge. I have to put it in Drive, and just check your Drive once, whether you have this. If you have received, then I will send again. You're certainly sounding very low, Vinay.
Yeah, Vinay is telling that we received another document from Chandragaru.
Okay.
These documents we didn't receive.
That was initially, earlier I guess, maybe 4-5 days back that was. That was another LMS training. There is a folder. So inside LMS training folder, there are some profile PDFs. So in the same LMS training folder under Google Drive, there are these two zip folders also. Admin and user zip file.
Second zip folder. Admin zip and user zip. We have got matter.
Okay, just share that with them. It is in Drive only actually. So in that particular Drive, all your mail IDs are included. So when I have uploaded it, it is sent to all. I have not selected particularly email ID.
Hey, your voice is totally not clear.
Just if you say, it doesn't matter, we can share the materials with you. Whoever have not seen.
Okay, madam, you can continue.
So this material
You are not master, maybe names and the conditions of master.
unfortunately finished. So anytime there is no disturbance of the voice, so I will just continue. Whoever has not received the material, do not worry, the same material will be shared with you also. You can go through this anytime. So, now coming back, yeah.
Madhu sir, I just wanted to suggest something in this. Since we have many documents, many set of documents, is it really very in the LMS admin, and you have sent some folders, right? Your project shares the folders where includes the set of documents in your project. Say for example, take assignment profile. So in assignment profile we have multiple steps where we have to perform all this. After assignment profile, what will be the next one? I need a cycle of this, so that is really helpful, because when we look after the document, we would be really confusing after this document which needs to be done. In the session, we usually go back.
After our class, because I am going as per the process. So the classes that we are completing every day, we will know what topic we have covered, right? We can only look at the admin folder or that particular topic only. Which I am going to cover later after some week or whatever. If you see that material, you will not be able to understand what that is. That is the reason, even in topics, if there are something related to recommendations, I mean not recommendations, requirements or previous years, there are some features in between. That's the reason when I am telling you, I will speak about this particular field when I am actually doing the topic. So even if you have received the material also, what we have covered till now, only look at those periods. Yeah, because we are going as per the process, as per the cycle only.
But agree, Madhu, what you said. But ideally, if that cycle would also be shared, that would be also helpful. But maybe in the end of the LMS sessions, I wouldn't mind that. But if from your end, if that cycle is also shared, that would be better. Yes, after assignment profile, what is the next configuration? In the PDF, it is showing underneath of this assignment profile, but not next of this assignment.
Yeah, because what I have shown you, this particular PDF is in alphabetical format, so that is the reason it is like taking this way. But this is not the case, right? So, you can't go in search of your lab also. See, if I am opening this PDF, you see here in the first thing, there is something called lab scheme. Can you see that?
Right.
If you go to items, we will be able to see that this is lab 1 or 2, something like that. Let me show you. So this is an item, adding an item. So this is lab 1. This is the first thing that you do.
Okay.
So this is
sorry.
But this particular is not in format. It is all in alphabetical order.
Sorry. This answers my question, Madhu. This is what I was concerned about.
Alright, okay.
Mara, is possible you give the serial number to the document, then it will come into the sequence, right? 1, 2.
All the time I have already uploaded, I have to remove that, start reviewing all the periods and then again upload it.
Madhavi, there is no need to upload this. Just mail the screenshot of that screen.
Huh?
Madhavi, when you rename, just send a screenshot of the renamed one. It would be better. No need of sending the document once again.
Rename the screenshot, huh?
Just rename this file. Is there any possible to rename the file?
Yes.
I will do it. Okay, I will do it. Okay, in the folder I will change the names. Okay. First lab 1, lab 2, I will change it. Okay. Fine.
Thanks, Priyanka.
You will have it. Yeah. Look, date wise or it's like first one which item you should go and read.
Yeah. Item 1.
No, I think it's simple. So you can see your lab, based on lab you can.
Yeah, that's what I will do it, no problem. Lab 1, lab 2, and then I will add the date also, no problem. Yeah.
Okay. So we were under this group, we were seeing like how we were adding curricula to the assignment profile that we have created. Similarly, whether it is a curricula or a catalog or whatever that we have to that we want to assign to an assignment profile, it is always under related area that we can see. So now coming to next scene, we have chosen the curricula and we have saved, and it is saved as you can see here. Now after that you will propagate it. So once the propagation is done, you will schedule your job and you will finish. So by then, with whatever you have done for all the users, this particular curricula will go into their homepage, learning homepage under curricula, because this is a curricula. If you go the catalog, it will go into their catalog search. So that was from the propagation side for an assignment profile. You see next step what we are showing. Once the assignment profile has been successfully propagated, the existing users in assignment profile link in the actions area, if you see here the actions area, can be used to display the users that are currently being impacted by the assignment profile. Can you see here? Shall I make it a little more bigger?
We are able to see Madhavi.
Okay. So under action, since our propagation is done here, it is grayed out. Unless and until we make any sort of changes in the assignment profile, the rules or anything, or we have included any other entities to the assignment profile, then our propagation button here, the link here will be grayed out. So now that you have done your propagation, you can always go and check the users who have affected with the rules that we have just done.
Madhavi, first time we have to do propagation, and then once we have clicked that, only then changes are implemented, then we can again see that button. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, we don't have to keep doing that. Once we have created our assignment profile and we have told the system, we'll propose the users who are the users who are actually getting affected by our rules we create, and then we have included from the related areas created. Then only we will do the propagation. So after that, under the cases, if you see here, this is clearly saying the status propagation required. Then you have to select the propagation required button. Once you have grayed out, once it is done, it will always tell when this propagation was done. Unless and until any changes is done for that particular assignment profile, till then you will not be able to see this propagate link as active. This synchronization will be active when you want to do that. You will see that is also given in this PDF. So you will know by looking at the existing users who have got affected by selecting that link. Now coming back to next task, which is like assign catalog to users. We have assigned curricula, now we are assigning the catalog. you will always go, you will navigate to catalog from the related area, you will go and click on this add button. Then if you know the catalog description that you have given, you will give your key search. Otherwise, directly go and search for your catalog that you have created. Coming back to your catalog, once you have chosen your catalog as HR resources, human resources, you will select that particular add button and you will click on add. Once you are done with that, the next screen that you can see here is under assignment profile under related area catalog, you can see human resources which is added. Now that you have included catalog,
catalog అనేది item ద్వారా assign చేస్తాం కదా, whereas curricula is to assignment profile.
No, you have got confused. Come back with your question.
Curricula అనేది assignment profile ద్వారా assign చేస్తాం, but catalog is to items we assign it to users, right?
Correct. Now you are assigning the items that we have created. Say 200 items I have created. I am assigning all those 200 items to a catalog. Now, how the catalog search is happening to users is through assignment profile only. I told in the beginning, unless and until the catalog is not assigned to assignment profile, unless and until we have the propagation, users can't see whether it is a curricula or a catalog. Curricula, what happens? Because we have done with the help of assignment profile, we don't have to do for each and every user. Based on the rules that we have selected, automatically the curricula will go and sit in this employee screen here. Okay. Curricula here. We can just show you in one page. First, what we did, as per this assignment profile, we had included curricula and we separated it. And we told the system they belong to public domain and the job location is ND and DC whatever. So whoever employees belong to that particular location, for them catalog called, curricula called HR policies and procedures. This is a curricula, HR policies and procedures. This curriculum which I had profile items. The entire HR policies and procedures curricula will go and sit in this particular file of the employee.
This is for curricula.
This is curricula. Got that? Now when I go there, the description that I can able to see inside curricula is this here. Curricula title. This is nothing but HR policies and procedures. So this might have some items within curricula that if I select that particular curricula, inside we will know how many items are there. Based on the items that are there, how many other we are clearing, you can keep telling like you have completed 2 items. When all items are completed, only then the curricula in the home page of the same file will show completed. There are any chart here, like if you see the pie chart,
only we will get one saying that it's completed, not the individual items in the curricula.
No. Here what happens is, this file is the curricula. This particular file will show as completed with a green tick mark check box here, with a green like this, and everything will be in green, and it will tell the entire curricula is completed only when all 3 items inside is completed. Yes, you will see this will never show as completed. Otherwise it will show something like this, half green and 3 items. So in that particular degree how much other items are assigned to this curricula. Unless and until all items inside curricula is not completed, this particular curricula will never be completed. So that is clear. So through assignment profile, we are assigning curricula to assignment profile, we are propagating it, it is coming to employees home screen. Yes. Correct? Now coming to catalog. What we have done, we have created a catalog, we searched for the catalog, which is called human resources. What we have added it is coming here under catalog called human resources. We are again propagating it. Here, again propagation button will be active because we have made changes to the same assignment. Now, after selecting add, repeat the same step so that this particular catalog for human resources, whatever you have assigned, right, it will come to employee field under website, My Learning Account, My Learning browser. So this particular catalog search is what the catalog that you have assigned to assignment profile based on the employee. Select an employee. Hello? Hello? Yeah, okay. So that is what it is for a catalog and curriculum which we have just seen. Okay. Now what this is, assign a user role to users via assignment profile. Now, say there are so many users in the system, but then role is not assigned to that user. What we will do, when we go into that role subject, right, when we speak about roles, we create roles, that time we'll see this video. It is as good as, like, I'll just give a brief explanation. We have user created in the system. We have to always assign a role to the user, whether that employee is a manager, or he is a normal user, or he is an admin, or he is a CEO, or he is a HR, whoever. So we have to tell the system. So we have to assign roles to that user. So if there are many, with the help of this assignment profile, we are assigning roles. So if we just switch to quickly, we'll just see quickly what this is. Or okay, let us not confuse the math.
No problem, man. So I want to ask you one thing. If we don't assign a role, still the assignment profile will work, right? Because already we have searched for based on that criteria, what all users are coming. Most users still have that particular assignment profile, right? Or is it mandatory to have a role?
It is mandatory. First of all, when we create a user, right? When we are creating a user itself, we are telling what role he is playing. So no doubt that when we are doing this assignment profile and all, right? When we are doing this assignment profile, that time itself, right? Okay. So when we actually create a user, we are even defining what role he is going to play. So there is no need for us to again do it. This is also good. Actually, when we have many users and we want to instead selecting user by user and selecting the role, we are going to assignment profile. So in one shot, for all the users, the role will get assigned. Otherwise, when the user is created, obviously there will be a role for him. Only by then, if it is understood that this person is a manager, or he is a user, whether he is an employee, or he is an admin, or which department he belongs to, all that. Yeah, Priti? Got it, Priti? No. If you have doubt, you can ask him.
అంటే మాధవి standalone.
Because it is a standalone system.
So when we use that,
actually, when we actually create users separately and we have not assigned roles, through assignment profile if you want to do, we can do it because it was less feasible by doing through assignment profile for a list of users that we have created.
సో అంటే తను అడిగిన తర్వాత నాకు అదే డౌట్ వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడు యూజువల్ గా మనం క్రియేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత అది డైరెక్ట్ యూజర్ కి కనిపిస్తుంది కదా. ఇప్పుడు మై అసైన్మెంట్స్ లో అదే లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ మై లెర్నింగ్ అసైన్మెంట్స్ లో డైరెక్ట్ గా కనిపిస్తుంది కదా. యూజర్స్ కి అది మళ్ళీ
డైరెక్ట్ గా మై అసైన్మెంట్స్ లో కనిపిస్తుంది బికాస్ ఆల్రెడీ యూజర్స్ ఉన్నారు సిస్టమ్ లో అండ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ డిఫైన్ వాట్ రోల్ వి యూజ్. అందుకని ఆటోమేటిక్ గా కనిపిస్తుంది విత్ హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ అసైన్మెంట్ ప్రొఫైల్ because it is already defined. Otherwise, separately if you are creating users manually and you have not, say 10 users or 20 users are created manually, when I was creating users manually, I didn't define what role user will be getting into. So after that assignment profile, I will select my role which is existing in the system, say default user role, default manager role. So there are some roles in the system automatically. Before even we can create, SAP has provided the standard roles in the system. So we will assign the profile, we will assign the roles to the list of users that we have created manually. Got it. Yes. What is the piece that you have correct?
Actually, Marty, I just blocked you for a while when you are trying to explain the same thing. Could you just, if you don't, you just repeat the same.
What I was telling was, no doubt with an assignment profile you are assigning, so employees are able to see backlog or curricula because through assignment profile with whatever names that we have selected. But we are doing all this after users are created and it is defined in the system what those users are sharing. Other than that, if you have created any manual users manually, we create 20-30 users. For them, if I have not defined the role for the user with the help of assignment profile, how am I going to assign that role to the list of users?
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Now coming to the next task, which is the way we have selected backlogs and curricula and assigned to assignment profile and propagated it so that it on to user. Coming to the next step, that is called recommended items. Now you have your items from the related area to add one or more from the items. Just select add button from the recommendation. Search for the items. We have the list of items here. You can choose any of the items and then add from here and propagation as it is. The same way how you have done for backlog and curricula. From your job,
Martin, for every action we need to do a propagation?
Why we have to do for every action? Because assignment profile that you have created, it is changing. Some of the other actions are happening here, right? Yes, so otherwise this assignment profile and then to add your catalog, add your curricula, add your recommendations, add your competency profiles, then you can set a group. You can do that also. That is the whole task will act in this video.
So propagation means that it is adding the...
Yeah. Not exactly adding. You are already adding and you are making changes. But for this to add to users, to go and set a user screen, you are propagating it.
Right.
Yeah. So because we are making all this video is like task-wise, task by task, we are going step by step. Because we have added recommendations, so we are going and propagating, and we are running the job so that it is going and saving in user screen. So that's how it is. So recommendation, then comes your competency profile. And student assignment exercise, okay. So this is what?
That is it?
No, understand.
Why should we do this recommended one?
People, manager or admin, they are just recommending course to employees. What they say is, when they go into the home page, right, there is a separate file. Yeah, recommendation. So, once we select some recommendations, all the list of items will go into the recommendations file of the employee. So, recommendation is just not like mandatory you have to do by once a period, nothing. When you feel that this course is a nice course, it is recommended that we go ahead and do that course.
Okay, then this recommended items will not be there in any catalog.
No, it will be there in the catalog, but then we don't want to show. See here, if I go and browse all courses, the list of items will be there. But employee does not know whether that is recommended or not recommended. And the specifically there, nowhere it is like, it will show that it is recommended. But here, you have to search catalog, you have your recommendation. I know that this particular course is good, I have attended it, I will go and recommend to my subordinate. So similarly, once this is recommended, this particular course will go into the file of the employee. If you want to recommend the list of courses to different employees with your same role or search, whatever, that it will go in one shot from a different user. Okay. This is the recommendation. I am recommending you to do this course. That's it.
Endorsing? Is it like much like endorsing?
Because endorsing also is like actually when you get a phone because all the want to execute or not. Synchronization, as I told you, you will go and select the synchronization button so that you can, the meaning of synchronization is that now status analysis is defined and I'm in this creating a new user in the system. I have my catalog, I have my curricula. I'm in this zone creating a new assignment profile and adding my catalog and my curricula and assigning to my assignment profile. Then I am propagating it. So after propagating this, the users that are available in the system based on the job that we are running on will be assigned. So the user immediately see in the system whether the users are there in the system and then whether this propagation has happened and it is going to if the user screen, I don't have to wait for the job that is scheduled every day at night. Then we will synchronize it so that we will be able to see the changes in the way it is propagated. And you will, being an admin, you can proxy another person's system. The way manager, when he goes to his employee staff, and he can see by selecting employee, when he screens, like, this is employee screen. The moment he actually navigates to those employees, he can see the employee's learning history, learning assignments, curricula, everything. Similarly, as an admin, whoever I give permission as an admin or a super admin, we tell who should have the proxy option. They can go, actually this is a native login, single sign-on login. Otherwise, in SuccessFactors, the screen will look something similar only, but through a different navigation. So, when we go there, here, next to our welcome page, there will be something called proxy in the drop-down. So, when I click on proxy, there will be a separate search button. I can search for the user say here I have Brenda. I'll search Brenda. So whatever users with the name Brenda is there, they will come in the search criteria. So I can choose the user. The moment I select that employee, I can get into their learning page. I can upload as a proxy. It is not even I am connected to their screen is not like that I can directly go and view the learning homepage of the employee after proxying it. So then and there I can synchronize, go check your proxy, log into the user, and then check whether whatever you have done, curriculum, the backlog, all that what you have done, whether employees are able to see that or not. That is under proxy. We give permissions to users, whether it is admin or based on their modules, they will give permissions for proxying it. So we do our synchronization and then we can check with the help of proxy whether those users have got whatever changes that we have done in the system.
So basically, synchronization is nothing but once you have done the propagation, you want to check if
just repeat for the schedule in whatever schedule that you have done that day night or whatever, you want to see it right now.
So you need to say propagation, once you do the propagation, if you go and click on synchronization, that's the immediate background job.
Immediate background job?
Like in SAP you have immediate and you have scientific. If you come immediate, it will be on the same time.
Immediate will run and then you will be able to see the changes in the system.
So if you click on synchronization, whatever propagation is, it will be immediate, right?
Yeah, it is immediate, but not all the time. In the course that we actually have the created users and then we want this set of assignment profiles to go to them immediately, or say there are new joinees. Today morning they have joined. There is a job that is scheduled every day night, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. That is you want the backlog to be visible for them by afternoon. What you do, you go and you set your assignment profile, you propagate it, and then you synchronize it so that for them it is available by afternoon and it does not wait till the night that is scheduled.
You need to say that synchronization is nothing but assigning to the user.
Yeah. That is not an assignment profile and system that we are doing. That is synchronization. We are running this so that for users who have newly joined or we have created newly, for them this assignment profile, the backlog, not exactly assignment profile, the backlog and curricula that we have, that we are supposed to map to them, that they should be able to see. So that's purpose we are doing this synchronization. Okay. So this one was the assignment profile. So you can now understand how good the period is when it comes to the sort of admin environment. So they are very much in detail in your factors or in your implementation time. Always it will be very useful.
Madhavi, I think what you have been LMS folder as a old ones, Madhavi. Means the latest part of the release part and the latest part revisions maybe 2016 లో ఉంటాయి కదా.
ఇది ఎక్కడ
అసలు ఈ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ అన్ని
Rather
And
than
help for that.
asking us further, only we can do this.
I think item the task is చూసాము కదా.
Like our task prerequisites, what all we are like adding to an item, prerequisite task and sub-curriculum, curriculum, all these we have to. So, our practice is suitable. At least, even if you're not practicing, if you see the serious is more than sufficient.
అదే మొన్న మేము క్లాస్ చూస్తున్నది ఇవాళ ఐ థింక్ ద వే దే సెండ్ లైక్
Okay. So we'll start with tomorrow then.